So one of the things that may seem like how do you pull it all together is where does AI and robots fit in this sort of sustainable energy picture? Like, is that just like some weird side project or what? But it's because what we're really aiming for here is maybe a better way to think of it rather than sustainable energy is sustainable abundance for all. So if you think about like what is the future that would, what's the most exciting future that you could possibly imagine? Like what does that future look like? It's worth thinking about that. Just imagine a future. What does that amazing future look like? How about a future where you can have any good or service you want at will? A future of abundance for all, where really anyone can have anything. It sounds impossible. It sounds like surely such a thing cannot be the case. But what I'm here to tell you is that that will indeed be the case. That the future we're headed for is one where you can literally just have anything you want. Like, if there's a good or service you want, you'll be able to have it, and ultimately, everyone in the world will be able to have anything they want. What's key to that is robotics and AI. So once you have self-driving cars and you have autonomous humanoid robots, where everyone can have their own personal C-3PO and R2-D2, but even better than that, that's Optimus. You can imagine like your own personal robot buddy that is a great friend, but also takes care of your house. We'll clean your house, we'll mow the lawn, we'll walk the dog, we'll teach your kids, we'll babysit, and we'll also enable the production of goods and services basically with no limit. And when you combine that with sustainable energy from the sun and batteries, we could also, at the same time, also maintain a great environment. So that, I think, is the future that we want. A future where nobody's in need. You can have what you want, and we still have nature. We still have, the beautiful parts of nature that we like. I think that's probably the best future. What other future would you want? I think that's like the cool future. And also space travel, let's not forget that. So if you can have basically anything you want and travel to space and go to Mars, and that's about as good as it gets. It's like, that's it. So that's really what we're trying to do is take the set of actions most likely to lead to a great future for all. So that's what I mean by sustainable abundance. The combination of things that we're making with Optimus and AI compute will achieve an age of abundance for all. Like actually. So it's going to be pretty great. And Model Y became the best-selling vehicle in the world. It's, FYI, we do make the best, it's how we're doing on popularity. Well, we actually literally make the best-selling car on Earth of any kind. So that's, and it's for 2 years in a row. So, and it's going to be the best-selling car on Earth again this year. So. The Cybertruck became the best-selling electric vehicle pickup instantly, because it's awesome. Tesla was the best-selling electric vehicle in Europe, the fastest-growing brand in South Korea, and we launched in a lot of new markets, including Qatar, Lithuania, Chile, and the Philippines, and we'll be opening in a whole bunch more markets as well. So Teslas will be available worldwide. So overall, it's good. If you read the news, it feels like Armageddon. So I was like, I can't walk past the TV without seeing a Tesla on fire. And like, what's going on? Some people, it's like, listen, I understand if you don't want to buy our product, but you don't have to burn it down. That's a bit unreasonable, Like, like, this is psycho. Stop being psycho. Okay. And we launched the new Model Y. Congrats to the team on that. That's obviously very tough because we've got factories all across the world, and we've got to change over a supply chain on basically three supply chains on 3 continents. I think you did an amazing job of switching over the world's best-selling car globally in a very short period of time. Well done, guys. And let's not forget, also, we upgraded Model 3 last year. So I would encourage people to also buy the Model 3. It's a great car, actually. And the Cybertruck is achieved 5-star safety. These days, sometimes things get a little dangerous in the neighborhood. The Cybertruck, being bulletproof and all, can come in handy. But apart from being bulletproof, it's also very safe in a crash. We're also building the Tesla Semi factory. This is a vehicle that some people said was impossible to build, that it defied physics. Well, not only does it not defy physics, we're going to be making a lot of them. So we're going to make I think ultimately we'll make over millions probably, of the Tesla Semi. This is really going to be something that you'll see all over the place, and it'll also be autonomous, or have the ability to go autonomous down the road. So really, autonomy is a massive, massive thing. The future is autonomous. I always sort of think, like, what will the future look like in 5 years, or 10 years, 20 years? And 5 years from now, autonomous cars are going to be everywhere. Primarily going to be Teslas, by the way. But autonomous Teslas will be everywhere. I think in 5 years, probably we'll have regulatory approval, I think, globally. So you'll have autonomous Teslas on every continent, taking people on trips, and almost the entire fleet, which will pass 10 million vehicles next year, is capable of full autonomy. So even without the Cybercab, we still actually have a gigantic fleet that is capable of being autonomous. And the thing about being an autonomous car is that it can be used much more than a car that is not autonomous. A typical passenger vehicle car will be used about 10 hours a week. So people might use it for an hour and a half a day on average for 7 days, which is about 10 hours a week. But there are 168 hours in a week. So if you have a car that's a robot car that can drive autonomously, it can now be used potentially for 80, maybe 100 hours in a week. So you could have a car that has 10 times the usefulness of a non-autonomous car, but it still costs the same. In fact, the fleets are already built. So the software update just enables that capability. Overnight, you have an increase in usefulness of 10 million cars that suddenly become like 50 million cars, or maybe 80 or 100 million cars of usefulness overnight. That's a profound thing. Like, nothing like that has ever happened before. There's never been something where a software update increased the value of a gigantic asset base by a factor of like 500 to 1,000%. So it's very difficult for, like, people in the stock market, especially those that look in the rearview mirror, which is most people, to imagine a future where suddenly a 10 million vehicle fleet has 5 to 10 times the usefulness. it's so profound, and there's no comparison with anything in the past that they just can't, it does not compute. But it will compute in the future. And some people like Kathy Wood at ARK Invest do see the future. So what I'm saying is hang on to your stock. So. So, yeah, it's really, it's mind-blowing. Then I want to give a shout out to service. Service is a tough job, an important job, and it's actually what sells cars long-term. You know, because the initial car is sold with sales, but all future cars are sold with service. And I always encourage our service team, like, let's try to give people a service experience that they love. Not merely that they like, but that they love. Because people will talk about something that they love, that was an amazing experience, but they don't talk that much about things that they like. You have to really do something amazing. And then they'll talk about it and be like, wow, that's incredible. So thank you to the service team for the great job you do. And you can see sort of, I like this sort of light map of superchargers. You can see you can go practically anywhere in the US, Mexico, Europe, China, well, I guess not the outback of Australia, but you know, most of the places where people live. So our supercharger network continues to grow significantly, and we keep upgrading our superchargers. This is, in fact, I still run into a lot of people who don't realize that you can drive, you can take your Tesla on a road trip anywhere in America or anywhere in Europe, anywhere, pretty much anywhere in China, just using the Tesla supercharger network. And it's actually easy and convenient. So people think that whatever the range of the car is, that's as far as they can go. It's like, no, you can just stop at a supercharger network. The car's battery will last longer than your bladder. I'm pretty confident. So that's really the threshold. As long as the car battery lasts longer than your bladder, and you just plug it in when you go to the restroom, and you come back and grab a coffee or whatever, and you're back on the road and everything's good, then that's the range that matters, and the supercharging speed that matters. So, yeah. So congrats to the supercharger team on expanding network and do great work there. So. And then, the Megapack and Powerwall team are really knocking it out of the park. The demand for stationary battery storage is gigantic, and I think that is actually only going to increase dramatically over time. So, and we've got the Shanghai Megafactory that's got started in record time in February. Congrats to the Shanghai factory team there. That's awesome. And the Powerwall 3 is, it usually takes about 3 major technology iterations for a product to be great. And the Powerwall 3 really is a fantastic home energy product. And it's something that if you want to ensure that your home has uninterrupted power during a power outage, the Powerwall 3 is the way to go. If you combine that with solar, you can basically be off-grid, which is pretty cool. But I think just having energy insurance, or energy assurance, such that if the utility goes down, you don't even notice. Like the lights are on in your house, and your neighbors will come to you for help, basically. That's actually what happens when somebody has a Tesla Powerwall and there's a power outage. So that's a great product. And then, yeah, Megapack, especially at the utility scale, is the opportunity there is gigantic because it enables a utility grid to dramatically increase the output of electricity because you can generate electricity at night, and then the Megapack can provide that electricity during the day because normal electricity demand is very uneven. There's a lot of electricity usage during the day, but limited at night. So Megapack actually has the potential to increase the output of an existing electricity grid by more than double. So you can actually, without building additional power plants, double the total output of energy in a year. So it's quite a profound thing. Yeah, so Megapack is is also really good at stabilizing the grid. So if there's variations in power in the grid, the Megapack can absorb. If there's a big power spike, and it can absorb and store the power, and then if there's a drop in power, it can fill in the gap. So Megapack is excellent for stabilizing the grid, and obviously it matches very well with wind and solar. In fact, satellites are just solar panels and a battery. That's how all satellites work. And with the Starlink satellite network, there's 7,000 satellites orbiting the Earth, and all they use is solar panels and a battery. And my prediction is, long-term, a majority of power on Earth. In fact, eventually, it might be like 90% or more of all power on Earth will be solar panels with batteries. That's my prediction. My predictions have a pretty good track record. So, yeah. And the power walls can also act as kind of a virtual grid. So if you have thousands of power walls in a neighborhood, they can actually work in concert to stabilize the grid. The V4 supercharger is pretty cool. It enables charging at 500 kilowatts, and the Semi can charge at 1.2 megawatts. So it's smaller and lighter. It's a big improvement overall. And we're rolling this out worldwide. So it will increase charging speeds and yeah, just enable you to get your car charged really fast. So. And then with regard to cell manufacturing, we're at this point, we think we're making the most efficient cell in the world, meaning like the lowest cost per kilowatt hour cell. So, which is really pretty good. Like, there are entire companies that all they do is make lithium-ion battery cells. And for us, that's one of many things that we do. So congratulations to the cell team on making the best cell. So that's a really big deal. And then we're also investing in the whole battery supply chain. So we have cathode production, we have lithium refining, and then more. Yeah, hopefully, we're sort of hoping someone else will do the anode. We might have to do the anode. I hope someone else does it. Why do we have to do all these things? Yeah, a lot of people think like we do this thing, a lot of these things because we want to, but really it's often just because we didn't have any choice, nobody else was doing it, so we had to do it. So yeah, a lot of new factory milestones. So in Berlin, we produced 660,000 drive units. Fremont, we built our first Optimus at the Optimus production line in Fremont. We're preparing for Cybercab production here at Gigafactory Austin. And Gigafactory Shanghai created its 3 millionth car. We've produced 160,000 NACS adapters at Gigafactory New York. And we've got record battery pack production at Gigafactory Nevada. So congrats to everyone. We also, just behind us, on the south side of the building, we have the Tesla, we call Cortex-1. It's like basically a giant brain, computer brain, that is used for AI training. So we take the vast amount of video that we get from all the cars in the fleet, and we use that to train the artificial intelligence to be able to drive the car. And this is one of the most powerful training systems in the world, with over 50,000 GPUs active, and soon to be 100,000 GPUs, which will make it, I think, probably top 5 in the world in training centers. So. We're also continuing to make progress on our Dojo training supercomputer. So we've got Dojo 1 active now in Gigafactory New York and in Palo Alto. And it is actively working. It's actually taking load on, it's doing a meaningful percentage, well, I guess 5% or whatever. But it's still something, 5, maybe approaching 10% of the training load of the self-driving AI is being done by Dojo. And then we've got Dojo 2 that's coming down the line. That'll be probably 10 times better than Dojo 1. And so it's sort of exciting. We're making good progress with Dojo. I'm increasingly optimistic about the future of Dojo. I think we got a real shot here at a breakthrough. So congrats to the Dojo team. And all Tesla vehicles have now had what we call Autopilot Hardware 4, or really our AI 4 hardware. And it's very powerful AI inference computer, but also operates at very low power. And even to this day, even though this has been something we designed several years ago, there actually isn't anything on the market that we can buy that is better than AI 4. So, and obviously in the future years, we'll have AI 5 and AI 6. Sometimes people say, should I wait? I'm like, well, we're always going to have another version, so there's no point in waiting, because you'll be just waiting forever. But we obviously will have an AI 5 and an AI 6 and an AI 7, and we'll keep improving the AI compute. So for those out there that are interested in developing advanced chips, come work at Tesla. Yeah. And it is always, I think, profound to watch our cars driving with no one in them. And we actually have the cars doing useful work for the first time with no one in them, which I think is really, it's a significant milestone. So the cars are driving from end of line in Fremont to park themselves. And I think we've just started doing that here in Austin. So we'll be, the car literally goes from end of line in Fremont to its destination parking spot, where it gets picked up by a truck for delivery to a customer, and it does that with no one in it. And it's not doing that all day, every day. Like pretty much like it's just a matter-of-fact thing. Yeah. So let's see. And obviously, for anyone that's using it, you can see the dramatic improvements in full self-driving, where it's getting to the point where interventions are extremely rare, and eventually they'll get to the point where there really is no need to intervene. Like the car is going to be better than human. In fact, maybe it's worth emphasizing that it's not that Tesla full self-driving will be equal to humans in safety. It will be ultimately 10 times safer than a human, because it never gets tired. It doesn't, like humans get tired and sometimes get wasted, and we'll have arguments or change the radio or, text. I know no one in this audience would ever text while driving. That would be crazy. But it does happen. So the reality is that the Tesla full self-driving will be vastly safer than humans. Not just equivalent, it will be actually vastly safer. And it means you can do whatever you want while driving. So even if you don't rent your car out for usage, you can still, it frees up your time. So if, let's say you're driving 10, 12 hours a week or more, it gives you back 10 to 12 hours of your life, which is extremely cool. So, well, Optimus sure has come a long way. So the new Optimus 22 degree of freedom hand and forearm is now in production. And it's learning to walk and catch balls. It's pretty cool. I mean, look, that's where we came from. It's wild. So in a very short period of time, Optimus has gone from being an idea to the most sophisticated humanoid robot on Earth. There's nothing even close to the level of sophistication of Optimus. And and Tesla has some important missing ingredients that others don't have, which is our robot has a real brain. It's like the Wizard of Oz, Tin Man. Well, was that a heart or a brain? One of the two. It's got the real world AI. So Tesla's the leader in real world AI. What we learned in the car, we translate to the Optimus robot. And we also take our expertise in electric motors, in batteries, power electronics, structural design. And then another major important thing is that we're very good at manufacturing. So in order for robots to be useful, they have to be intelligent. They have to be able to do useful things just by asking, and you have to be able to make a large number of them at an affordable price. This is what we can do. We have the only company with all the ingredients for making intelligent humanoid robots at scale is Tesla. This is a super big deal. Like my prediction is that on this front is that Optimus will be the biggest product of all time by far. Nothing will even be close. I think it'll be 10 times bigger than the next biggest product ever made. Like that level. So. Yeah. All right, so with that, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so Elon, I have a question. I've worked for Tesla for 12 years.
Hey, congratulations. Thank you.
From a PA now to a shop lead at castings.
Cool. And we rock at castings.
Yes.
We do. Yeah.
Where do you see, or where would you like our focus in the next couple of years with the operations team?
Well, we want to scale up production to new heights. Obviously, with the Cybercab, we're going to be. Cybercab is not just revolutionary car design; it's also a revolutionary manufacturing process. So I guess we probably don't talk about that enough. But if you've seen the design of the Cybercab line, it doesn't look like a normal car manufacturing line. It looks like a really high-speed consumer electronics line. It's, in fact, the line will move so fast that that actually people can't even get close to it. Like that's, I think it'll be able to produce a car ultimately in less than 5 seconds. Like, can you imagine a car coming off the line in less than 5 seconds? That's like, whoa. Which means casting's got to happen fast. Yeah. So I mean, we got to jam the liquid metal in, cool it down real fast, and then I guess maybe we need to just get even bigger casting machines. Sure, why not? Down, yeah. Let's 50,000 tons. Because then we can make in a single casting machine we could do 5 at a time or something. Trying to think how do you scale castings because you got liquid metal's got to cool, and then you've got to automate getting all the bits and pieces off the casting so it's usable, and that's actually kind of how they do it in small volume castings. They'll have a casting block that'll make 100 Matchbox cars at a time. Maybe we just make that real big. Yeah, I mean we have the Cathedral of Casting back there, so. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, let's see what is the limit of physics of how big can a casting machine be? Let's find out. I'm down. Let's have some fun here. Push the limits of technology. All right.
Hi, Elon. I've been with Tesla for the last 8 years.
Cool.
It has been the most exhilarating 8 years of my career, and truly want to thank you for your leadership. I also have two little...
Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. I also have 2 little girls who spend their weekends cruising around in their very awesome Cybertruck.
Cool.
I'd love to know when we can add Optimus to the family.
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. So So this year, we hopefully will be able to make about 5,000 Optimus robots. We're aiming for enough parts to make 10,000, maybe 12,000. But since it's a totally new product with totally new, like everything is totally new, I'll say like we're succeeding if we get to half of the 10,000. Now, but even 5,000 robots, that's the size of a Roman legion, FYI, which is like a little scary thought, like a whole legion of robots. I'd be like, whoa, okay. But I think we'll literally build a legion, at least one legion of robots this year, and then probably 10 legions next year. And I don't know, it's kind of a cool unit, units of legion. So probably 50,000-ish next year, and then it's probably ready I'm hopefully ready for Optimus to be used outside of Tesla-controlled environment, or maybe around the middle of next year, second half of next year sometime. So I think sounds about right. Probably second half of next year is when they'll be available, and then we will offer Optimus robots first to Tesla employees. So you guys get the priority. There are some pluses and minuses to that, because it's probably have a few bugs, but it's going to be very cool. You'll want to invite your friends over and say, check this out. So that's the other questions.
Hi, Elon.
Hey.
My name's Dom. I've been here for a little over a year now. I work in people development.
Okay.
We make so many amazing things.
Yeah.
Right now, it's still the people that do it.
Yes.
When we think about applying first principles to the relationships and the teams that people have, how would you encourage us to think about that and act on those first principles when it comes to relationships and teams?
Well, I think there are actually quite a few things I've written over the years that it would be good to compile into like a, I don't know, booklet or something. Because I actually have to be reminded of those things myself, and I'm like, oh, I remember that thing that I thought of after making so many mistakes, and trying to make fewer mistakes. So there's like, for example, at like a 5-step process of like make the requirements less dumb, and then try to delete the part and process step, only then optimize, only then speed it up, and only the 5th thing is automate. I have to repeat that to myself many times because I've made the mistake of doing it backwards so many times. I think always operating on the principle that everyone is wrong to some degree, and we should aspire to be less wrong over time, which we will not always succeed in doing. But if 2 days out of 3 you're less wrong over time, your batting average is going to be really good. So nobody ever bats 1,000, but you can improve your batting average. So I think rigorous, you want to critique yourself, you want to internalize responsibility. And these are all things I need to remind myself of. Just to be clear, I'm not like suggesting internalize responsibility. Be less wrong. And we should remember what is our goal as a company. Our goal is to make amazing products that people love, and then to take care of those products and service. So we should say, what are we doing to make our products better, to make them more affordable, to have the customer experience be delightful? Because that's actually the purpose of a company. Sometimes people forget, why does a company exist? A company exists, it's a group of people collected together to produce a compelling product or service that others find useful, and where the value of the product and service is greater than the cost of what it took to make that product or service. So sometimes, weirdly, profit is like viewed negatively, but really profit is just the the difference in value between the output and the input. It's like, what did it cost you to make it, and what did it cost you, and what are people prepared to pay for it? That's the value that you created. So it's tough, actually, even to maintain like a 10% profitability, which is to make the output 10% more valuable than the input. That's actually quite hard, especially in the car industry, which is very competitive. So we should just not lose sight of, like, why are we here? Oh, we're here to make useful products that people love, you know, and take care of them over time. So then how are we doing in that respect, and how can we do that better? So, sure.
What advice would you give a young person like getting into the stock market? Like,
Stock advice. Wow.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As I think people can perhaps tell who are watching this, these questions are not prepared in advance. This is literally random questions from the crowd, which is cool. I'm fine with that. And I think that it's going to sound very straightforward, but you want to really buy stock in companies where you think the products that company makes will be better in the future. Is that company going to make more and better products, or like do you love the products that company makes, and are they going to keep doing that? And like, I think Tesla, as I've just gone through, Tesla has a track record of having made many great products, and we're going to make many more future great products, and we're going to scale up production, and I think we've demonstrated a level of innovation that is extremely rare. I mean, certainly by far the most innovative company in the car industry, like not even close type of thing. So, you know, like I do think Tesla stock actually, I think long term, with Optimus and self-driving, Tesla will probably be the most valuable company in the world. But there are also other companies out there that make great products and services. So I think that's the way you want to look at it. Say, like, do you think this product, because that's the reason why companies exist, is to make great products and services. So if you think that a company is going to improve over time, then buy the stock, and if you don't, then don't. And then the stock market it's a very strange thing. It's kind of like, you know, I think it's Warren Buffett's sort of metaphor or analogy is, you know, the stock market's like having someone stand at the edge of your property or your house and yell prices to buy or sell your house every day. And like sometimes they take their meds and sometimes they don't, you know. So sometimes the person yelling out the price of your house is having a good day, and sometimes they're having a bad day. But it's still the same house. You're like, it's literally still the same house. Like, you know, so Tesla stock goes up and it goes down, but it's still the same company. It's just people's perception of the future. I don't know, I guess it's just very emotional, you know, so. But for me, like, while it's difficult to predict how things will be from, you know, in the next, say, 6 to 12 months, if you say, like, where will things be in 3 years or 5 years, the future of Tesla is incredibly bright. So. Hi. Hi. Yes. You say, will the robot take your job, or what? That's a fair question. Well, so, yeah, like, is a robot going to come steal your job? A reasonable question. I think what we'll find with the robots is that there'll be a ratio of people to robots. So you'll effectively end up having managing a group of robots. So, you know, you'll have, like, basically, I don't know, your flock or your little group of robots, that you take care of, and you tell them what to do. And I don't know, you'll have a pack of robots, basically. Yeah, you're promoted to manager. One way to think of it. I think the same thing will be true of cars. Like, so for the self-driving cars, is that people that are, say, Uber drivers today or something like that, or taxi drivers today, will end up managing a fleet of cars. And that'll be a much more effective use of their time. Just taking care of like 10, 20 cars or however many they can take care of. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Adrian.
Hey.
You said that your companies are made to make products people love.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of airplanes or trains?
Yeah, I mean, I'd actually love to make airplanes, especially, but stretched pretty thin. So I have like 17 jobs. At this point, I just go to sleep, work, go to sleep, work, and then do that 7 days a week, pretty much. People say, like, where do you go on vacation? I'm like, what's that? But I guess I like being productive. I like getting things done. So I guess I could choose to be like on an island somewhere, sipping a Mai Tai, with attractive people in bikinis and stuff. Wait, why am I not doing that? What? What a fool I've been. I've actually thought about aircraft designs for a long time, and I think there's an interesting opportunity to make like an electric supersonic VTOL jet. The VTOL is like cherry on the cake, but certainly long-range, fast electric airplane would be very cool. Maybe at some point we'll do that. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. We do have the ingredients for it, so. And then there is the potential for, again, we're like thinking like pretty far into the future here, of not a conventional train, but that sort of hyperloop, essentially vacuum tunnels, like tunnels where you draw a vacuum so there's no air resistance, and you have very high-speed autonomous electric pods in a vacuum tube, a vacuum tunnel. That would allow you to go from city center to city center much faster than any airplane could possibly go. Because going into an underground vacuum tunnel would it'd be like teleporting to super high altitude, effectively, which no plane could do, and then it could deliver you right to the center of a city. And that, I don't know, maybe that's some future collaboration with the Boring Company and Tesla. I got a million ideas. The ideas are, I had more ideas than I know what to do with. Ideas are kind of the easy part. Execution is the hard part. As they say, it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Work in manufacturing engineering. Since 2018, I've done a bunch of different things here, kind of like energy products, Model 3, Model Y, cyber, and now we're looking forward to Optimus, maybe the biggest product ever.
Yeah, it will be.
And I think about the mission statement of the company, and it's evolved. It used to be a sustainable transportation, then sustainable energy. Is it going to evolve again? Are we going to reformulate that officially to kind of explain to the world better about how Optimus and AI folds into the rest of the fabric of the company? Yeah,
I mean, I touched on this briefly earlier, but you're right that I think we do need to articulate it more prominently and maybe more often, because it's really about sustainable abundance. Can we have a future of abundance for all that is also sustainable and compatible with nature? So we're not destroying nature, but you also get abundance for everyone on Earth. Sounds like the best possible future. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
sir. My name is Aaron Armstrong. Yes, sir. My name is Aaron Armstrong. It's not every day that you get to be in the presence of somebody that's accumulated so much wealth and success. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask for any wisdoms or secrets that you may have to offer about this game of life that we're all trying to play.
Sure. I mean, I try to say everything that I know. Although, admittedly, sometimes I'm, like I posted on X. I guess should I ask the AI to look through all of my X posts and pick out the ones that are really good? Because I try to say any good ideas that I have. I try to post them. Yeah, I think generally it's good to always be curious and to to read widely, like read a lot of interesting books, especially history. I find history really interesting, and I find like biographies and autobiographies to be also very interesting. I think it's good to read, especially autobiographies, where somebody has done something incredible and they wrote the book themselves, or mostly themselves. That'll give you a lot of ideas. I mean, something that I do is I'll get audiobooks, because I got like so much going on in my mind it's kind of hard to go to sleep, because it's like having a computer browser with like 100 tabs open. That's by the end of the day, I got like 100 tabs open. It's like, I gotta close this browser, That's my brain. So then I'll listen to an audiobook, and I'll put it on a timer, and it's like 15 minutes. It's like being read a bedtime story by your phone. So podcasts and audiobooks, especially at bedtime, I find are great. Or yeah, sure. Or. Sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, there's a city in South Texas which is Starbase. So it's a city for. It's in fact the city's maybe makes it sound bigger than it is, but it is. It's a really a small town plus a giant rocket factory. That's Starbase, and it's in South Texas and Starbase, Texas, right by the Rio Grande, and you can just literally drive there because it's on a state highway, so you can just drive through it and check it out. I do own a piece of property that's just across the river. That's kind of cool. It used to be like a horse place, like where they would give horse riding lessons and stuff. And at some point, I think it would be cool I want to do like this gigantic art project there. That's looks like an alien planet, like right across the river. But like that people could visit, So then I might live there occasionally. But really, it's a place to, to envision sort of an alien planet art project across the river. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Marcus Seller. I'm a associate manager and I'm just curious, the world that we're living in right now, we're going through a financial revolution on how we spend money, whether it's through cryptocurrency or some form of digital assets. Do we foresee Tesla creating a product that can help boost how we spend money?
Do we foresee Tesla making a product that helps how we spend money? Well, I think the AI is going to help us spend money better. It's kind of amazing, what AI can do these days. I don't know if anyone here has used Grok, but it's pretty cool. Grok Voice can be really pretty great too. I should try Grok Unhinged. It's guaranteed to be entertaining at a party. I 1,000% promise you, if you try Grok Voice Unhinged at a party, it's going to be a big hit. So, But you can also ask it any questions. So like if you want to ask questions about like life advice or things that, or anything, like you can really ask, like you can ask it about cryptocurrency if you want. You can ask it about medical advice. You can ask any, it's actually, it's very good and it's getting better. So, I think more use of, try using Grok. It's it's really pretty cool. Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Tomorrow's my third year anniversary, so thank you for that.
Cool.
But I'm going to ask, what phase of the plan are we in, and how long does it go?
Yeah, so we're in phase 3 of the master plan, since master plan 1 and 2 have been completed. Now, master plan part 3 is a very long master plan because it's basically making all energy on Earth sustainable. And I actually need to supplement it with the sort of abundance for all. Maybe that's master plan 4. I've kind of described master plan 4 essentially, which is like autonomous cars, autonomous humanoid robots. You combine that with like solar and battery storage, and I think the future is going to be incredible. So I'll take a couple more questions and call it a night. Well, I'll ask if you haven't asked a question before, you can ask a question.
All right. I'm Boss.
Okay.
I've been here for almost 3 years. My question is, when will we see some Optimus robots with the production team?
Oh. Well, there are actually some Optimus robots being built in Fremont right now. So we'll sure what that was, but but we expect to have an Optimus production line here as well. So there'll be Optimus production starting in the Bay Area, and then we'll have the even bigger Optimus production line here in Austin. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of robots. So, I mean, ultimately, I think we'll be making tens of millions of robots a year type of thing. It's like serious volume. Maybe 100 million robots a year. It's wild.
Sounds good. We love it.
Yeah. All right, well, last question. Okay. It's about sustainability? Abundance, yes. Well, yes. I mean, obviously, utopia could be dystopia. So we have to, like, usually any story about utopia ends up being dystopia. We want to avoid that. But nonetheless, I think if you say, what's the best future you can think of? I think a future of sustainable abundance plus space travel, well, that's pretty great. Yeah. Oh, we need adversity. Well, I mean, you make a good point. Like if things actually get too easy, maybe we get bored and you kind of want to some degree, overcome adversity. It's like if you play a game of some kind, you want the game to be not too easy and not too hard. And maybe the future will be too easy, potentially, is what you're saying. It's a high-class problem, But I think we'll still have human-to-human competitions. I mean, if you look at, say, athletics or even mind games like chess, although computers can beat any human at chess, chess is actually at an all-time high in popularity. And although cars can go faster than any humans, we still have athletic sports where humans compete against each other. So I think we'll still have human versus human competitiveness. I think long-term we will also have enhancement of humans, or optionally, if somebody wants to enhance, have cybernetic enhancements, like with Neuralink. You know, if you want to go cybernetic and, I don't know, maybe have like super intelligence and be able to see, you know, in different wavelengths, we could absolutely provide superhuman abilities via Neuralink in the future. So one thing's for sure, the future is going to be very interesting. In fact, I think generally I find that the most interesting outcome is the most likely. Or said another way, maybe the most entertaining outcome, especially if ironic, is the most likely. It's almost like we're in an alien Netflix series that's trying to have the highest possible ratings. And like, if you think about it, like, that's kind of what happens. You know, which it doesn't mean it's always good. Because to your point, if you wouldn't really want to watch a show where things are great and stay great. I'm like, oh, that's boring. You want to watch a show where there's like a narrative arc where things go up and they go down, they go back up again, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen next. And I think we might be in an alien Netflix series here. So we're just going to keep the ratings up so we don't get canceled. All right, thank you guys.